Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and I am absolutely astonished at the story I'm about to bring you. If you were an employer, you pay someone to do a job. Now, as taxpayers, you are technically the employer of civil servants, and you expect that your tax pounds go to pay them to do their job. Seems fair. If they want to sleep, go for a walk, go outside and smell the flowers, or so forth, go do a bit of yoga, you would expect them to do that kind of thing in their own time, under their own steam, and, without you paying for it. That's what you'd expect. But in Scotland, that's not the case. And civil servants are given an hour a week on full pay during the working day to do exactly that. They can bring in their little pillow, put their head on their desk and sleep. And if they take it during their lunch hour, they can maybe have a little 2-hour nap. Give them time to recover from all the gin they've been swilling the night before. Or maybe they'll go off and ride their bike in the countryside on full pay. It's just unbelievable, but true. Let's take a look to see why this is being allowed to happen. Astonishing, isn't it? Here goes. So this is a stunning headline, isn't it? Revealed: thousands of Scots civil servants sleep on the job as they get an extra hour off every week as public services suffer. So what they do is they get this hour paid for by the taxpayer every week to do their own thing, to help them relax. Now this to me suggests that they're not given enough work. They don't have enough work to do. If they've got an hour slack each week, which let's say is, let's be generous and call it a 40th of their week, then that means you can get rid of 1/40th of the amount of civil servants. Now that doesn't sound much in the grand scheme of things, but given how many numbers the civil service makes up, that's a lot of people. That'll be a lot of salaries saved, and all that extra hour a week can be filled in by the others who've got that spare hour to do. So let's get rid of 1/40th randomly across the civil service, and let's see what we can save, what money we can save. Now it says here more than 12,000 taxpayer-funded bureaucrats in the public sector, including those working for Transport Scotland, are given an extra hour off a week on full pay, paid for by the taxpayer, to take part in their own activities. So paid to sleep on the job. A pilot which allows Scots civil servants an extra hour off every week also includes 11 different agencies. The Scottish Daily Express can reveal the SNP government provoked anger last year after launching a wellbeing hour policy for 9,000 core Holyrood staff. 9,000 staff at Holyrood. How on earth do you have 9,000 staff at Holyrood? It allows staff members to take paid additional 60 minutes off per week, either in one go or split up over several hours. The guidance also says that it should go towards them undertaking activities to improve physical or mental well-being, including yoga, a walk, reading, or a snooze. I tell you what, let's give them 40 hours a week off. If they're not prepared to go in and do a week's work, why on earth are they paid? Get rid of them all. Fire them all. And bring in a private company to do it. And say, boom, private company, you do it. Will a private company cough up an hour for nothing? For flower sniffing? Coffee drinking? No, it bloody won't. Why should the taxpayer be forced to cough up for this? Previous reports claimed that only 9,000 of the core government staff were involved in this pilot, but a Freedom of Information request revealed that there are actually 11 different agencies also piloting the proposals, which will be assessed on the 30th of September. A number of quangos, such as Transport Scotland, Student Awards Agency for Scotland, Social Security Scotland, Scottish Public Pensions Agency, Disclosure Scotland, and Accountant in Bankruptcy, are also running the scheme. Accountants in bankruptcy? They need to have a look at bloody Holyrood. I bet you that'd be bankrupt. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Only it ain't funny because it's taxpayer money. That was a poet. I'm a poet. Anyway, it means there's an estimated over 12,000 taxpayer-funded bureaucrats who get an extra hour of well-being each and every week, paid for, as I say, by the people. This equals an estimated 450,000 hours of work being lost annually, the equivalent of more than 250 staff. Easy. Fire them all. Get rid of every single one. Hand them their P45, send them down the road, and save what? 10 million a year it's going to be? Something like that, minimum. 10 million a year. Pump that into something useful. The average salary for the public sector is around 34,000. This means the wages cost for the Wellbeing Initiative is over 9 million a year. That wasn't a bad guess off my part. I didn't read that. Hands on, I didn't. This revelation was blasted by campaign group Taxpayers Alliance, with Benjamin Elks telling the Scottish Daily Express, Scottish taxpayers are sick and tired of paying for civil servants to slack off. They are. And they're still doing it. And they're going to continue doing it until someone says no. And whoever comes in 2026 has got to say no. This has got to go. If you want to take an hour off, fine, take an hour off, but you're not getting paid for it. You know, go smell the roses in your own time. He said, while public services continue to nosedive despite a record tax burden, bureaucrats in Scotland are literally sleeping on the job. Ministers should put a stop to this absurd scheme and focus on delivering for taxpayers. The policy has been trialled since July last year and is for permanent staff who are not senior and exclude the likes of SPADs. The cost to the taxpayer of Scotland's soaring number of civil servants has risen from an estimated salary bill of 1 billion to 1.6 billion a year. Money, I think we could all agree, could be spent much, much better. There's been a 24% rise in the number of people on quangos. And of course, quangos are all chums and mates and relatives of those in power. Little backhand boys for their friends, you see. Not real jobs. Don't actually have to do anything. But it's all right, isn't it? A little bit of taxpayer money. You know, oh, go sit on there. You can do that. I'll give you 50,000 a year for sitting there. Don't have to do anything, but it's nice. That's what happens. There should be no quangos. You should be employed directly and accountable directly. Anyway, I'll round off, but come up. The fact that this is being allowed to happen is bad enough. The fact that the opposition parties in Scotland aren't jumping all over this and showing it up for what it is as waste and grift is appalling. It means they're in on it. Unless they didn't know. So if they didn't know, I forgive them for not jumping on it. But then I say, why didn't you know? Why are you ignorant? Why aren't you asking these questions? Why aren't you doing your job? This should never be allowed. And as soon as you find out about it, you should be up, moaning, turning it around, saying no. And if the civil servants don't like it, fire every one of them. Fire them all. Start from scratch. Let's get private companies in, since the ones that are employed by the civil service are no damn good at the job. If they're any good, they wouldn't need a little sleepy time. What do they get? A little glass of milk, hug a teddy. Can hell grow up, these children? Unbelievable. Anyway, so stop there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this one was worth a thumbs up. If so, do please give it. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, hit the subscribe button, and I will speak to you later. Bye.